Are you thinking about starting a podcast, but you're not entirely sure what type of podcast you'd like to have or what style of show it'll be? In this video, we're going to explore the various podcast formats, from solo monologues to engaging interviews, and how to pick the right topic of discussion for your show. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Chances are you're here because you're passionate about podcasting or you want to learn more about podcasting from the pros. Well, as always, you're in the right place. I'm Quinn from The Podcast Consultant, and today we're going to be discussing the different types of podcasts that you could create. Be sure to stick around until the end of this video where I'll be going over some quick tips on how to make the right choice to keep your podcast listeners coming back for more. All right, let's jump in. When it comes to starting a podcast, there are two things you're going to want to consider: the content and the format. Let's break each of these down. For starters, the content of your podcast is going to be one of the most important things to consider before you start putting it together. A pro tip here is making sure that no matter what topic you pick, you want to find a way that you can have a unique angle, and on top of that, finding a way to offer this information that will provide value for your listeners. The world doesn't need another generalist. If you're planning on starting a finance podcast, there are so many areas you could cover here with giving it your unique twist. You could talk about investment strategies, macro trends, and things like that. Do you love talking about movies, television, Hollywood, and those types of things? Then a media and entertainment podcast might be the perfect fit for you. Perhaps the goings-on of the White House and geopolitics are areas that you're already very familiar with and have a good knowledge base about. If that's the case, maybe a political podcast might be the right fit. Of course, there are tons of other topics that you could discuss: true crime, futurism, AI, literature, you name it. The real key is to consider who your target market is even going to be, pick a topic that you could talk about for hours and hours, and find a way to deliver that information that will resonate with your audience. That's how you build lifelong fans. If you're wanting to nerd out or go deeper about certain things when it comes specifically to content and content creation and the philosophy behind it, we highly recommend checking out the Making Media podcast by the Colossus network. It's a podcast all about the process of making media. Next up, let's talk about the different formats of podcasts you can have. A monologue podcast is fairly self-explanatory. It's going to be you, one person, sharing your thoughts about a given topic or a set of given topics. They're great for sharing personal insights or your opinion on whatever it is you feel like talking about. Co-hosted podcasts are where you team up with someone else or a few other people and host the show as a group. This can allow for dynamic conversations, debates, and engaged dialogue between more than one person. The real trick here is making sure that everyone talking has good chemistry. The last thing you want is for one host to remain mostly silent while the other dominates the conversation. That's not really fun. One of the most common formats that exists today, and might even be one of the reasons we have podcasts, is the interview format. If you love connecting with other people through a great conversation, and then using those conversations to provide value or bring people into your world, then the interview podcast is a tried and true staple of this industry. The hardest part of any interview show, though, is going to be scheduling.
I legit thought that it was Wednesday today, which I will get to in a moment.
Not only that, but you're going to want to prep ahead of time with some research to actually get the most out of the conversation when you sit down with your guest. The person you're interviewing is going to appreciate how you have well-informed questions and are familiar with their book or life story. There are many other formats, but the ones I just mentioned tend to be the most common. So, how do you choose the right format for your show? First of all, what are your strengths? Are you more comfortable talking alone, or do you find some of your best conversations happen in a group setting? The other thing to consider is your topic, where some topics lend themselves better to other formats. For example, a personal finance podcast could be a good fit for a monologue or a co-host style show, whereas if you're going to be discussing media and politics, then interviews might be the better play for you to get a broader perspective to offer to your audience. Finally, and we've said this a lot, but you really want to be thinking about who your audience is. We cannot stress this enough. The audience is the backbone of your podcast. Full stop. Ask yourself, what are they looking for? How can you help them feel informed about a given topic? You can also check out a lengthy video that we have currently on our YouTube channel that goes in depth about what it means to be a podcast host and other dynamics that you can consider. We'll link to that right here. All right, let's wrap things up. Here are the key takeaways when it comes to the topic and format of your podcast. Number 1, topic selection. Choose a topic that you're passionate about, be it finance, media, politics, and so on. 2, picking your podcast format. Decide what type of show you'll want to create. There are monologues, co-hosts, interviews, panels, so take some time to consider what it might look like, especially from a planning and logistics standpoint. 3. Know your audience. Think about who your audience is and find a way to serve, entertain, or inform them. And 4. Find a niche. The podcast space is fairly saturated with generalists, so finding a unique twist or a niche within any given topic is going to give you an edge and help you build a loyal audience. If you need more personalized advice or would like a hand with helping you become the best host you can be, or working through any of these questions, you can always book a free discovery call with us here at the Podcast Consultant in the link below. We'd love nothing more than to help you share your message with the world and take the hard parts out of podcasting. That way you can get back to having great conversations with engaging guests and sharing your content and brand with listeners and viewers online. Thanks for watching. What type of podcast is your show? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more industry tips from podcast professionals like us here at the Podcast Consultant. Thanks for watching and happy recording.